The state of Florida in the United States was swept by Tropical Storm Idalia, which brought strong winds that caused a power outage on Wednesday 30/8 local time. Local officials called Tropical Storm Idalia, which brought deadly high waves, a once-in-a-lifetime event in the northwestern region of Florida. U.S. emergency services were deployed after the storm left debris along the U.S. Gulf Coast. A number of counties in Florida are currently in a state of emergency, where the local government has issued warnings for the evacuation of residents in 30 counties in anticipation of the coming of Hurricane Idalia, which will hit Florida's mainland in the near future. Currently, most of Florida has been hit by rain accompanied by strong winds. A number of indications of tornadoes and flash floods have also been predicted by the local weather forecasting agency. At least 280,000 homes and businesses experienced power outages due to this storm. Property losses due to this disaster are estimated at $36 billion, or around it are 142 trillion. The United States National Hurricane Center report called Idalia a very dangerous Category 3 hurricane in the Big Bend, Florida area. Although Idalia weakened to a Category 1 hurricane and turned into a tropical storm with winds of 70 miles per hour over Georgia, authorities are warning residents of the impact and the dangers of high tides. It's very scary because all the trees are down. But that's how it is. This is life in Florida. You have to get used to things like this, said one resident. He said first aid teams, including search and rescue teams, were operating, although it would take time to reach remote areas that were obstructed by fallen trees or high water. Previously, the local government had ordered a mass evacuation for thousands of Floridians, although many opposed and chose to stay. Houses and restaurants were damaged by Hurricane Idalia in the Horsehoe and Sea Keys Beach areas, Florida, United States, Thursday 31/8/2023. The Horseshoe Coast region of Florida, about 30 miles south of the mainland, was one of the areas hardest hit by Hurricane Idalia. Houses along the coast were ripped from their foundations and fell into the estuary. Others collapsed and slipped into lagoons and boat docks into piles of wood chips. Meanwhile, in Cedar Keys, Hurricane Idalia also damaged buildings and restaurants in the area. Local, state, and federal authorities said they expected to assess the full extent of the damage in the coming days. Even though it lasted only a moment, Hurricane Idalia, which hit the Gulf Coast of Florida, United States, Wednesday 30/8 afternoon local time, apparently recorded the most powerful history in 127 years. According to CNN reports and various international media, Idalia's speed this time reached 125 miles per hour, or 201 kilometers per hour. Previously, the unnamed catastrophic Idalia, Hurricane Category 3, occurred in 1896. No mention of velocity. However, from initial reports, even though the super-fast Hurricane Idalia hit Florida, the damage data was not too great. That's compared to Hurricane Ian, a Category 5 hurricane that hit Florida in September last year. Hurricane Ian killed 150 people and caused losses of $112 billion. So far in Idalia, only 3 people have been reported killed as a result of the storm. According to various media reports citing official sources, at least 565,000 residents lost electricity. Various buildings were damaged, hundreds of thousands of people were confined to their homes, and flooding left the streets. Hurricane Idalia brought very strong winds, high sea waves, and very heavy rain. Some models have predicted that Idalia could turn south toward land again after that, but the National Hurricane Center expects it to move deeper into the Atlantic this weekend. According to estimates by UBS, a financial institution, the losses due to Idalia this time are around $95 billion as a preliminary estimate. As a result of the Idalia rampage, At least 950 flights were canceled. This illustrates the magnitude of the risks of air travel, the chaos of the situation. Landslide in Erzincan, Türkiye. August 29, 2023. Heavy rains caused floods and landslides Üzümlü district located on the Erzurum-Erzincan highway, causing damage to roads and bridges. Floods from rivers that pass through the district center caused water overflows. Because some culverts were blocked, the flood caused damage to roads, land and houses near the river bed in the district center. Municipalities and government agencies have stepped in to help. In this flood disaster that did not cause any casualties while the related team continued their work in the district, there was an announcement not to use drinking water. On the other hand, it was stated that Beyarbag and several villages as well as Üzümlü were affected by flood damage coming from the mountain.